Welcome to Attention Retention with Jackie McManus, your source for the latest trends in transportation recruitment and retention.
Jackie, good morning to you.
Tim, good morning. How are you?
Doing well. How about you?
Doing great. Happy to be on.
Well, we're always happy to have you on as well, and the information you bring to us and the information you take back to your clients as well to try to make things better in the trucking industry for our drivers. And it's kind of ironic because we were talking about passion today on my show. We sure were. And if you know, the question was, are you passionate about trucking or is it just the job? And I did not have one that said it was just a job. Everybody, they had that passion for what they do.
Yep. That's amazing. That's so great to hear. I'll have to re-listen to that episode. And that makes sense. I mean, with the job itself, it's not just a job. It's a passion. It's a lifestyle change. And it's funny that was actually spoken about because, you know, when we talk to a lot of clients now that are trying to bring in the newer generation of truckers, you know, a lot of these, you know, younger, you know, Gen Z kids, they really don't know what the whole career entails. And I really believe there has to be a form of passion in your blood to be able to, you know, spend some time away from your family and travel the 48 of the United States. And there's so much passion that goes along with that. It's not just a degree or a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah, it is because there are some sacrifices to be made as well. And one of our listeners, I believe it was Chrome Badger, that brought that same thing up. It takes a lot of your time. You spend a lot of time away from your family, but if you did not have that passion, you wouldn't be able to do it. And you brought up a good point, Jackie, as far as the new generation of drivers that we have. And a lot of them get into it and not really knowing what it takes, you know, what it entails. And first of all, you have to have it in your heart. You know, if it's not in your heart, you're not going to make it in trucking because you're going to have some ups and downs. But the thing about it, you know, the older drivers and, you know, the older generations of drivers, a lot of them had an insight, somewhat of an insight anyway, whether they're one or both of the parents drove, or they, you know, had a relative that drove, but it's not so much like that nowadays.
That is so spot on, and that's what everyone's finding is that, you know, the newer barrier to entry, the newer generation that's coming in, you know, it's because maybe they heard about it on the radio or they read something on Facebook, and that's how they're joining the industry where, the older generation of baby boomers, if you will, that are, you know, starting to retire, had a father or their great-grandfather or their brother that was a truck driver. So they may have spent some time on a truck themselves, you know, just as a kid. And so they really got a good idea of what the lifestyle entails. And what's happening now is that, you know, when the younger generations, they're coming into the industry, you know, obviously they read some of the advertisements and some of them are really glamorized, but they don't really mention the fact that, you know, it is a passion and you're going to be away, especially as a new driver, a couple of weeks out of the year or, you know, a couple of weeks out of the month just to start until you get your credentials and you keep, you know, gaining experience and getting, you know, safety miles and all that jazz. But it does take time to get there. Absolutely. It definitely takes time. But once you're in the industry and take that career path, and that's what we're seeing too, Tim, a big piece that I wanted to bring up today is that a lot of companies now are not just advertising just for the CDL truck driver position. What they're trying to do is create career paths within their organization and say, hey, listen, you know, at 18, we'd love to bring you a part of our company and have you work at the docks, for example, or in warehousing. And then at 21, we're going to help get your CDL. And, you know, you might spend a couple of years on the road, but if you're interested in maybe going into management, we'll have an opportunity for you. And what they're finding with those those candidates that they're bringing in at a younger age and giving them a true career path is that longevity-wise it's there and there's a lower turnover rate. And so I'm excited to see that a lot of companies are really taking this approach when grooming the next generation of drivers because, bottom line is we need more truck drivers, we need more owner-operators, but we also need other types of labor in the industry, warehouse workers, diesel techs, and then from there we need more management as well. So it's exciting to see some companies that are trying to shifting their approach and how they're recruiting, and not just recruiting for that job specifically, but we're recruiting for the whole overall company and all the positions that are included in it.
Jackie, I love that approach. It's kind of putting an old school flavor on it. And the reason I said that is one, is that they're taking them and bringing them in and not actually throwing them right in a truck. They're gradually getting them introduced into trucking. Two is that during the process, they can work their way into management. And to me, some of the best managers, I'm not saying the ones who did not drive a truck are not good managers. There are a lot of exceptional managers in trucking that never drove a truck. But for the most part, if a manager was once a truck driver, he or she really knows, they know they have the empathy. They know what drivers are going through. But one of the things I wanted to expound on that you just mentioned about this program, that I think that you say one of your clients or one or more of the clients are kind of introducing.
Yeah, exactly. It's
strange. It's strange that you brought that up, Jackie, because I was just sharing this story to a friend over the weekend about my dad.
Is that right?
I was.
Oh,
and how he started, he was always a bed bugger, a moving guy. He worked he drove for North American Van Lines, but he started on the dock at 17 years old. Started on the dock. And in the warehouse, he was loading and unloading trucks, and doing the cross dock type thing, unloading the trailers from when they went to pick up a shipment, and then they would unload it and then put like 6 or 7 shipments or 6 or 7 families on one trailer. And, anyway, that's what he started off doing. And then he ended up learning how to, hook up to a trailer and then back it into the dock and move trailers around on the yard. And then after that, one of their senior drivers, and I'll never forget this guy. He was just one of the coolest guys that I thought that I had ever met. He went by the handle of Horseman, and I just thought that was his name. That's what everybody called him. And he was a much older guy, and he took my dad under his wings and started teaching him how to drive and how to be smooth and how to navigate these city streets and then, going out on the road and so forth. But anyway, that's how a lot of drivers started, and not only in the household moving sector of it, but even, with family members taking that son or that daughter out and mentoring them and getting them gradually into trucking. So I really like that concept in terms of what they're doing. It's going to make a huge difference. We're going to pull over, Jackie, and take us a break. But our number, we have some lines open, 615-292-6366. You want to throw those questions out, Jackie?
Yes. Hey, I would love to hear from the drivers. What exactly is keeping you at your current company? What are carriers doing to really make you feel valuable and keep you at your current carrier?
All right. We'll be back. This is Tim Ridley along with Jackie McManus. Jackie McManus is with us on Retention Attention. This is Tim Ridley on Sirius XM. What is keeping you at your job? And also, what is your company doing to make things better for you and the other drivers? Jackie, I do have an email. Actually, I have a couple of emails for you. And the first one, he says, what's keeping me at my job is the family atmosphere that we have. Everyone is known by their name. Also, we are all treated as we are part of the family. We have an open door policy. If something goes awry, we can always go and talk to the top person without making an appointment. I'm here for life. Okay, so he found a home, didn't he? And
he really did, and I love hearing that. And it's something, Tim, that you and I talk often about is really, the core fundamentals of just, humanity at that point is treating drivers with the respect that they deserve and giving them the opportunity. Not every day is going to be a great day. We know that things happen. But if there are companies out there that have managers, and I think, you're spot on. And there's great managers out there without a CDL, but I know with the companies that I've worked with that have CEOs that have their CDL or in executive leadership, the whole energy of the company is completely different. It truly is.
Absolutely.
They really value their drivers. And one client I'm thinking of, they just got nominated for the best fleets to drive for. And my buddy Andrew, who is head of chief carriers, he held a CDL. He holds a CDL actively. And he started as in the shop and became a driver, and then he decided he wanted to go to the management route. And he runs probably one of the most successful companies out there because he truly values each individual driver. And that open door policy, it's not just something that's on the ads, it's something that's really lived throughout the entire organization. And drivers feel that. And I think when companies are able to really show that they have that value system, you're gonna get responses just like that driver said. I'll be here for life, and what a win-win that is for both the driver and then the company as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said something that's very, very true. Is that the atmosphere in the company it makes a big. The drivers can feel that when the management or someone from the management or one or two or three or whatever the case is knows what it's like to be out there, have driven a truck before. It does make a difference. And a prime example, you made me think about a friend of mine I met many years ago, and he had the opportunity to acquire a trucking company that was going under. And his father-in-law, and he still runs a very successful company, a pretty large company, but his father-in-law owned a company. So he asked his father-in-law if he could earn a CDL and be taught to drive a truck and earn a CDL and drive for him for a while, for a month or so before he acquired this company, so that he would be able to relate to his I was going to say listeners, to his drivers. And that's exactly what he did. He drove for his father-in-law not a long time. I think it was like 3 weeks, 4 weeks or something like that. And all at the same time he was in the process of acquiring this company. But he knew firsthand. He got a sneak preview of what drivers went through. He still holds a CDL, and he'll still get out there behind the wheel of one of his trucks from time to time to take a load out somewhere to deliver and get another load to come right back. But his drivers, he has a very low turnover rate. And if you ask in just about any of his drivers how happy they are extremely happy because of the leadership, knowing what they're going through, having that empathy and that concern and that desire to make things right if there's something that's wrong.
Yeah, that's a beautiful story, Tim. And, I think it really just comes down to, it's one of those things you just can't teach in school. When you go into maybe leadership school or management school, you can't teach, what the lifestyle skills is like when you're out there on the road as a CDL driver. And I think that experience has been so important to companies, and you're seeing those companies with the lowest turnover rate. And it's typically because one or someone in the management team has actually, pounded the pavement themselves. They've done the miles. They've been out there. They've been at the truck stops. They talk to drivers, and not just, sitting in the office and, trying to make sense of, crafting a great organization, but actually doing the work to understand where their employees and contractors are coming from when it comes to being a driver and setting them up for success. And that's really, we're definitely seeing that those companies that hold a CDL, I'm thinking of another client now, and he's actually the CEO of a company, and he started with a CDLB. And that's how he started his career. And he was a driver for about 5 years and then decided to go to dispatch, and then from dispatch to operations. And then from there became the VP of ops, and then ended up becoming the CEO of a medium-sized trucking company. And they have, historically one of the lowest turnovers. And he does say a lot, it's because he knows what it's like to be a driver. He's been a driver. He was a driver for over a decade, really. And so he knows how to put drivers first and to keep that clear and honest communication, because that's something that I think drivers can feel immediately when they join a new company. And that's usually where we see drivers, they'll leave within 30 days, or they'll say, you know what, maybe we're not loving everything about the job, but the management wants to make it a better place for us. And they're actively doing things to try to have that open door policy and listen to the drivers so that they can really, be able to take that information and try to make it a better situation for both the driver and the shippers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, this next email, Jackie, he says, I love the concept that you were talking about, having drivers on the dock, working the dock first and moving their way up. I myself started in the shop, just changing tires. I would wash trucks every once in a while. I did that for just about a year. And then I started in the yard, backing up trailers and unloading pallets. After that, learned how to drive a truck, and I've been with this company since I was 21 years old. I am now 30, I'm sorry, not 30. He says I am now 63 years old, and he's been with that company since he was 21. Started in the shop changing tires and washing trucks.
Holy smokes, I love that. I mean, Tim, how often do we hear of someone being with the same company for, almost 40 years?
Yeah, that's right. And he didn't say anything about retirement, but I wonder if he's just planning on staying there for. And and we're going to go to the phone lines in just a bit. As a matter of fact, Dre is getting them lined up right now, and I know time is getting short too. But okay, he's got Alvin locked in. Alvin, we're going to bring you right on in, and then I'll tell this other story. Alvin, good morning to you, and welcome to the show. And you're live on with Jackie.
Top of the morning to you, Pastor. Top of the morning to you, Miss Jack. It's a great day to be alive. As I prepare my truck, because I'm going to sell my truck, I'm going to drive to somebody else for a while after a while. But one of the things that I'm passionate, always have been about being around trucks. There's always going to be a tractor trailer in my life. That's the bottom line. However, when you go to work, one of the things that I find that for me, I'm the easiest going guy around. However, many of these companies that you had talked about, those little aggravations, just give me my work. You have to recognize who is working for you. You have an employee, and he's experienced. You're going to sit there and try to micromanage him, or you're going to try to talk down to him as a child. That's what's going to make, have a lot of short-term employees. But one of the things that I find in many companies, I don't understand it. When you get to the customer and they don't have the pickup number, just one little thing like that. They don't. I've got to spend 30 minutes standing in front of the customer, looking goofy, trying to call them to get a pickup number. Try doing that 2 o'clock in the morning. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. But like I said, that passion for driving, it will always has been there. But now that I've had my truck for 4 years, had this truck for 4 years, I've got ideas. Like I said, I've got some other ideas, but I'm planning on driving for somebody else for a while as I recoup. Like I said, the thing is, if you're a company, you got a guy who's passionate, hey, talk to him. Just listen to him. That's all.
That's it. That's it. Simply said, and thank you so much for calling in. That was really, really great feedback.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate you, buddy. And thanks for all you do, Adam. Have a great day, my
Have
friend.
a fine one.
All right. We just have about a minute and a half left, but I was going to share this real quick. We were talking about our last email. He's been there for all those years, and a friend of mine, we were just talking not long ago, and her dad owned a company and with trucks, and so the driver that he had hired many years ago, her dad is deceased now, but turned the company over to his sons, and they still run the company, but it's a little bit different. They don't go over the road anymore. It's local. But do you know that one of the guys that started with her dad years ago, when he started his company, is still with her brothers, and he is in his 80s, still with them.
Oh my gosh!
Still with
right.
them. She says, "Well, he doesn't. They are concerned about him, still coming into work and everything at his age." And her brother said, "If we make him retire, he would die because this is what he loves to do." Yeah, that type of dedication right there. Well, Jackie, thank you so much. Always a pleasure, and we look forward to talking to you next time around. You have a wonderful day.
Same, Tim. That was always a great time.